Brakataya Hawa, Brakataya Shai, Brakataya Hawa, Brakataya Shai, Brakataya Hawa, Brakataya Hawa, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachakudash. The blessed to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone with true well, and salutations to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim to Sadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. On the pre Shemon, this week's topic is going to be entitled Why We Do a Great Variety of Lessons, or it is encouraged to do a variety of lessons. I think I call it that, Lord willing. It is encouraged to do a variety of lessons. And I was thinking about this, and I got further inspired. One thing I'll say that sort of boosted me to even more doing the show was, you had the priest Cornwath. He had asked me to review one of his lessons concerning, the financial situations of things and how it ties into prophecy. And he has to fine tune it a bit, and he's gonna fine tune it. But he said before I upload it, I'm gonna upload the situation with what's going on in North Korea, and that right there tells me that's a variety of lessons. One lesson is dealing with inflation and the consumer price index, and the next one is going into the war with North Korea. And hell, I previously did a show on the manosphere. Now, why is this recommended? Why do that? Because, and I'm going to read this. This is Matthew 4:19, and he saith unto them, this is Yahweh Shai, follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. Now, in fishing, it requires patience, all right, as this is truth. But to catch fish, not all fish go after the same bait, you know, and you need different bait to acquire different fishes. And that's pretty much the same thing that applies to this truth. You need different avenues, different baits, different sort of variety of lessons to get different brothers of the elect. All right. For example, you might have somebody out there that's of the elect that's not really too concerned about what's going on in Ukraine. He doesn't care about the war in Korea, but he might be concerned with UFOs, so-called UFOs within the chariots of Israel. Or, hell, he might be listening to some red pill content, a manosphere thing, because that's pretty predominant now, right? He might be into sports, football, basketball. So many different things the elect are in that you need to do a variety of lessons, and brothers do a variety of lessons to put out different baits out there. Now, in the time of Yahweh Shai, they weren't fishing like that in terms of putting baits out there. They were casting nets. So with that analogy, it's you could cast a small net or you could cast a large net. And that's what you do when your channel has a variety of different lessons on it. You're casting a large net. You see, this is how come you could scroll through a brother's page. Every single video should not be on the chip, brother, because certain jakes out there that's of the elect, they're not really even concerned about that. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. They might be concerned about other things. So you try to, you try to spread out your lessons. You try to do a variety of different topics. That's like when we do life lessons. We do the first and foremost major thing, which is prophecies, the RFID microchip, the nuclear missiles, the war. All right, but you might have different sort of finite subtopics. All right, because the scriptures link to everything. There's not a thing that's going on in the world that you can't link to the scriptures. Hell, we might go into science. You might have brothers that's all into the science, so we might disprove certain science out there. Go into the fact that the world is not flat. All right, going to the scriptures, going to the fact that the world was created before the sun, that the earth is the center of the universe and not the other way around. All right, that it's not spinning on its axis and around the sun. So those types of stuff might intrigue brothers that's into that. You know what I'm saying? So you do a lesson on that. Guess what, brother? Dinosaurs are mentioned in the scriptures and they're hid right now. Really? I never, you know what I'm saying? And at the same time, on that same channel, you have the chip, you have the missiles, the meat of things. Jacob and Esau, who they are. You see? Now, again, Jeremiah 16:16 writes, behold, I will send for many fishes, saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So we're fishers. And they shall fish them. And after I will send for many hunters. Now we're not in the time of hunting. We don't have the power to do so. Romans the 13th chapter, the so-called white man holds all the power. When the Lord gives us the power to hunt, spiritual power specifically, trust and believe we're going to be hunted. Lord willing, we have the number. They shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill, right? Mountains and hills represents government, all right? Mountains are larger government and hills are smaller government. So you might be hunting down a goddamn mayor in your town, or brothers might be hunting down a president of a country. You know what I'm saying? It says, and out of the holes of the rocks. All right. So again, the point right now we fishing and we casting a variety of different baits out there. Brothers try to do a variety of lessons, man. A variety of lessons. Okay, on your channels, man. You know, because you got to think about this. All the brothers in the camp that's in the camp right now, did we all come in from watching the same video, the same? Now there was different things that the apostles are touching and that got different attentions. And what proves that you might have brothers that weren't into the Bible, you know, but they always probably hated the so-called white man, which the so-called Christians don't even teach. So they might be like, what? I thought the Bible was a white man's book. You telling me God hates the so-called white man? And, you know, and then boom, there you go. That's a bait, you know. Now, the Apostle Paul used the same sort of cunning, knowing his audience. 1 Corinthians 9:20. And unto the Jews I became a Jew, that I might gain the Jews. To them that are under the law, as under the law, that I might gain them under the law. So, and verse 21, to them without the law, as without the law, being not without the law to the Most High, but under the law to Yahweh Shai, that I might gain them without the law. Right. So, what basically the Apostle Paul is saying, like for the Jews that were into the scriptures, he might have been going into the book of Psalms concerning the prophecies of Yahweh Shai, like how the book of Psalms speaks about. Let me see if I have the precept here. Psalms 16:10. For thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither wilt thou suffer thine holy one to see corruption. Right. So the Apostle Paul could have been bringing out scriptures like Psalm because he could have been like Yahweh Shai was on the cross, but none of his bones were broken and such, fulfilling that particular prophecy. So the Jews that was heavy into the Old Testament and the Psalms, all right, at the time, he's going to deal with them like that. Now, when you read to verse 20, it says, to them that are without the law, as without the law, being not without the law to the Most High, but under the law of Yahweh Shai, that I might gain them that are without the law. So he might be speaking about situation like when you read Romans, the 4th chapter, right? And he says, you know, the promise was to Abraham, who did not get circumcised, but by faith. See, so he was addressing them like that because again, knowing your audience, knowing that not every bait is gonna work for the same brothers, man. You see? So he was touching on a variety of things. Now this is the book of and I want to bring another one out. Actually, let me read Acts 17. Acts 17:1 says, now when they had passed through Amphipolis and Apollonia, they came to Thessalonica, where there was a synagogue of the Jews. And Paul, as his manner was, went in unto them, and 3 Sabbaths they reasoned with them out of the scriptures, opening and alleging that Yahweh Shai must needs have suffered and risen again from the dead, and that this Yahweh Shai whom I preach unto you is and the Savior whom I preach unto you is Yahweh Shai. So he went on to the Jews, right? Now what I want to do is I want to jump down. So he went on to the Jews and he was speaking to them concerning the laws, statutes, and laws, and going into the prophecies for the Jews. Now when you jump down to Acts 17:22, now look how he deals with these brothers. Acts 17:22. Then Paul stood in the midst of Mars Hill. Now he's not amongst the Jews. Now he's amongst Mars Hill. That's your modern day 125th Street, man. Pretty much Mars Hill was like a debate. It was old school 125th Street, man. A whole bunch of different seed pickers, babblers, philosophers, you know. Then Paul stood. Let's see how he deals with them now. Then Paul stood in the midst of Mars Hill and said, ye men of Athens, I perceive that in all things ye are too superstitious. For as I have passed and beheld your devotions, I found an altar with this inscription, to the unknown God, whom therefore ye ignorantly worship, him declare I unto you. Right, so unknown God, meaning a God we don't know. There's a whole different subtopic into that I'm not going to touch right now. I'm just gonna keep the show pretty linear. Verse 24. It says, "The Most High that made the world and all things therein, seeing that He is the Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands." Right, because the Most High dwelleth with us, within us. Neither is worship with man's hands, as though he need anything, seeing he giveth to all life and breath and all things. Yeah, and there's several instances where, we've in our past where we've built these great temples and we got besides ourselves, man. You know what I'm saying? Like the apostles going up to Yahweh Shai saying, "Look at this great temple," and the Lord said, "Look, man, not that shit's like it. That is gonna be pretty much earth and ash." And of course it was, got completely stomped out. So making temples and all that, the Most High doesn't dwell in that. The Most High dwells in us, It says, verse 26, "And hath made of one blood all nations of men to dwell on all the face of the earth, and hath determined the times before appointed and the bounds of their habitations, that they should seek the Lord, if haply they might feel after him and find him, though he be not far from every one of us. For in him we live and move and have our beginning, as certain also of your own poets have said. For we are also his offspring." So why did the Apostle Paul say this in the verse 28? Remember now, when we started at 21, the Apostle Paul was dealing with Mars. So when we read the first verse in Acts, he went on to the Jews, right? In Thessalonica, okay. He went into Yahweh Shai, Now when we jump down to verse 28, and he's somewhere else. He's at Mars Hill. He's quoting a philosopher. Who's this? He's quoting a poet actually, and he says, one of your poets has said, "For we are also his offsprings." Right now, the poet that he was quoting was Herodotus. Now I'm gonna see if any of the commenters have. I believe John Gill has it. Well, we're gonna go into the JFB commentary. So, hey, real quickly, some of the commentaries I recommend. I always recommend the John Gill commentary. I do believe he was an Israelite. The JFB commentary and the Pool commentary, but I have several. So I'm gonna do the JFB and I'm gonna go to the Pool commentary real quick, see what they're saying. All right, so this is the JFB commentary concerning for that part where it says, "For certain of your own poets have said, for we are also his offspring." It says the first half of the fifth line, word for word, of an astronomical poem of Herodotus. See, a Greek countryman of the apostle and his predecessor by about 3 centuries. But as he hints, the same sentiment is to be found in another Greek poets. They meant it doubtless to a pantheistic sense. In a let's break that down, pantheistic, all God-like sense. But the truth which is expressed, the apostle turns to his own purpose. See? So that's bait right there. He baited them up. All right? He used something that they're into, a well-known poet of that area. All right? Took a little bit what they got. So in other words, Apostle Paul is being shrewd and cunning. All right? Just like how you would catch fish. When you don't catch a fish in complete obvious, you use shrewdness. You're not just going to say, "Hey, fish, just come in this bucket, let me eat you." No, you're going to cast nets, you're going to put different baits and such. It says to teach a pure personal and spiritual theism, probably during this quiet retreat at Tarsus. All right? Revolving his special vocation to the Gentiles, he gave himself to study of so much Greek literature as might be turned to Christian account in the future work. Hence this and his other quotations from Greek poets. So I guess he has several other quotations from Greek poets. The Cretians are always liars. Yeah, that's another poet that said that. So the Apostle Paul, if he's in your area, and very similar to, like, for example, let's say the apostles were out there on 125th. You got a lot of Muslims out there. We might say, look, even the Quran says the children of Israel or the chosen of the Most High. Even your own Quran says it. You see, so something like that. So if you're dealing with a bunch of Muslims, you're not gonna jump right into, Yahushua come on the spaceships. You're gonna say, wait a minute, doesn't your holy book speak about the Israelites? You know what I'm saying? So it's a different bait right there being used. Now let's see what John Gill says. I believe he also says the same thing. And this again, it's the first time I'm looking this up. A certain also of your own poets have said. Oh, yep. So it says, which is a citation from Herodotus, and whom the apostle might have called his own, as he was his countryman, right? Because Aratus was a native to Solus, a city of Sicilia not too far from Tarsus. Yea, some say he was of Tarsus, where the apostle was born. But Aratus being in heathen, now, see, John Gill, he put heathen here, but Aratus could have been an Israelite. You know what I'm saying? It's just because you call yourself a Greek, if you're not known, just because you had Israelites calling themselves Greek. It's like how you have Israelites calling themselves today Americans, right? Americans could be any particular nation. And you got different 17 nations that are citizens of America calling themselves Americans. So you had a whole bunch of Hellenized Israelites, Westernized Israelites, taking on the customs and even calling themselves Greek. It says, in the apostles speaking to the heathens. So see right here, exactly. So John Gill is going off right here because he thinks that the apostles are speaking to the natural Gentiles. No, the apostle is speaking to the unnatural Gentiles, Israelites that have took on a Gentile state of mind. Calls him one of them, and the rather that which is cited might be the more regarded by them. Exactly. So he used something that was regarded by them. And this is a good one. The Cretans are always liars. Let me see who quoted that one. I'm gonna see who quoted that one. Let's see. Okay, Epidemides. Okay, I remember this one. Epimenides. All right, of Phartius. In Crete. All right. Okay. So I remember this one too. The Apostle Paul. He quotes different poets and stuff. Pretty much whoever he's dealing with, he'll kind of use the backstory of your particular area to really try to get souls. So this is why, again, in closing, we do a variety of different lessons, man. That's how come you go through a brother's lesson, you might see him talking about the chariots. Hell, the previous lesson I did, I was speaking about feminism, right? Feminism, women being oppressed versus men being oppressed. Why did I use that? Because I know that's a hot topic right now amongst what's going on. The rise in feminism and such. Well, boom, you can link that right back to Jeremiah, where it says it is prophesied, I'm going to put a new thing in the land where a woman shall compass a man. They'd be like, oh, word, that's in the Bible? Yeah, wait a minute, what? And then, boom, you lead into Genesis now about a woman submitting to a man. And then from there, the rabbit hole just goes, it's deep. They take the red pill and the rabbit hole just goes deeper, you know what I'm saying? In other words, they start to digest more and more of truths that's found in the scriptures, and then you sort of bait them up until they, come full on doers of the work, which is the ultimate goal. So that's why, hey, it is recommended. Brothers have a variety of lessons. I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim, Chakudash, that belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there. You Akim to Zadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. Shalom.